In the remote southern region of Finland, nestled between dense pine forests and tranquil lakes, lay a modest wooden house. This home, painted in shades of weathered red and white, had stood resolute through the decades. For Hilja, an 82-year-old widow, the house wasn't just a shelter. It was her sanctuary, a place where her past intertwined with the peaceful rhythm of her present. Each creak of its wooden floorboards and every scratch on its furniture held stories, a mosaic of her life and the lives that had shared this space with her. Hilja's life had always been one of simplicity. Born into a family of farmers, she had grown up surrounded by the sights, sounds, and scents of nature. Her childhood memories were filled with the joy of running barefoot through fields, the warmth of freshly baked rye bread, and the comfort of her mother's humming as she knitted by the fire. Even then, Hilja knew she was deeply connected to the earth and its cycles. When she married Eero in her early 20s, they moved into the house he had built for her. It wasn't grand, but it was sturdy, and it carried the imprint of his love in every nail hammered and every plank laid. Together, they created a life filled with simple joys, tending to their vegetable garden, fishing by the nearby lake, and spending long evenings under the stars, their laughter blending with the sounds of the forest. Hilja often reflected on those days, feeling the bittersweet ache of nostalgia. She would sit in the rocking chair on the porch, the same one Eero used to favor, and close her eyes, imagining his voice and his presence still lingering. Eero's sudden passing when Hilja was in her 50s had been a profound loss, but it also became a turning point. Left alone in their beloved home, she decided to embrace solitude rather than fear it. Life must go on, she often told herself, echoing the wisdom of Finnish proverbs she had learned from her grandmother. Like the rivers that carve through stone, persistence will guide you. Each day, Hilja followed a routine that connected her to the life around her. Her mornings began early, with the first light of dawn illuminating her bedroom. She would rise from her bed, the quilt carefully folded from the night before, and shuffle into the kitchen. The wooden cabinets, filled with jars of preserves, spices, and tea, reflected her resourcefulness. Lighting the wood stove was always her first task. The ritual of striking a match and watching the kindling catch fire filled her with a sense of purpose. Her breakfast was modest, usually porridge topped with lingonberries she had picked the previous autumn. The sharp tang of the berries complemented the creamy warmth of the oats. Hilja cherished this moment of quiet, sitting by the window with her bowl, watching the mist rise off the lake. The ducks, who had grown accustomed to her presence, often waddled up to the porch, quacking softly. She greeted them with a smile, tossing them a few crumbs before returning to her meal. The heart of Hilja's day was spent outdoors. Her garden, though small, was a testament to her care and dedication. She grew an array of vegetables, from potatoes to carrots, alongside rows of herbs and wildflowers. The soil, dark and fertile, seemed to respond to her gentle touch. Hilja often spoke to her plants as she worked. "You'll be ready for harvest soon," she would murmur to a cluster of plump tomatoes, or, "Let's make sure you're not thirsty," as she watered the sprouting basil. Beyond her garden lay the forest, a realm that Hilja considered both a friend and a guide. She ventured into its depths almost daily, carrying a woven basket. The forest was a treasure trove of gifts, offering mushrooms, berries, and occasionally, an antler shed by a wandering deer. These walks were meditative for Hilja. She would pause to listen to the symphony of birdsong, the rustling of leaves, and the distant murmur of the wind through the trees. Sometimes, she found herself lost in thought, reflecting on life's mysteries and the interconnectedness of all living things. Hilja's relationship with the forest wasn't just practical. It was deeply spiritual. She believed that the forest held wisdom, a sense of timelessness that humans often failed to grasp. On several occasions, she had encountered animals. A fox darting across the path, a moose grazing in a clearing, and each interaction felt like a silent conversation. "They watch us as much as we watch them," she often thought, marveling at the quiet understanding shared between species. Winter in Finland brought its own challenges and rewards. Snow blanketed the landscape, turning the world into a monochromatic wonderland. The days grew shorter, and the nights seemed endless. Hilja prepared meticulously for these months. She spent autumn chopping and stacking firewood, preserving vegetables, and knitting warm garments. Her house, though old, remained cozy. The crackling of the fireplace and the soft glow of candles created an atmosphere of warmth and serenity. On particularly stormy nights, Hilja would sit by the window with a cup of tea, watching snowflakes dance under the porch light. The wind howled like a distant wolf, but inside, she felt safe. These moments reminded her of her younger days, sitting by the fire with Arrow, sharing stories or listening to the radio. Though those days were long gone, the memories felt as vivid as ever. Despite her solitude, once a week, she ventured into the nearby village to buy essentials. The journey, though modest, was a highlight of her week. She cycled through winding paths, passing by frozen lakes and frosted trees. In the village, the market buzzed with life. Vendors greeted her warmly, offering samples of fresh bread or smoked fish. "How's life by the lake, Hilja?" they would ask, and she would smile, sharing snippets of her days. The villagers admired Hilja for her independence and her connection to nature. Young children often visited her during the summer, eager to hear her stories or learn about the forest. She taught them how to identify edible mushrooms, how to forage for berries, and the importance of respecting the land. Her wisdom, passed down through generations, became a cherished part of the community's heritage. Evenings were a time of reflection for Hilja. She kept a journal, writing about the day's events, the changing seasons, and her musings on life. Her handwriting, though shaky with age, flowed with thoughtfulness. Today, the ducks were particularly talkative. She wrote one autumn evening, "I wonder if they sense the coming winter." Writing became her way of capturing the ephemeral beauty of life, preserving moments that might otherwise be forgotten. Stargazing was another cherished ritual. On clear nights, Hilja would wrap herself in a thick woolen blanket and step outside. The sky, free from light pollution, revealed its full splendor. Stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, and the northern lights, when they appeared, painted the heavens with their ethereal glow. Hilja felt a profound sense of connection during these moments, as if she were a small but integral part of the universe. Hilja's story is one of resilience, simplicity, and gratitude. Her life, though unremarkable by conventional standards, was rich in meaning. She found joy in the ordinary, in the sound of a bird's song, the taste of a freshly picked berry, or the warmth of a knitted scarf. Through her quiet existence, she demonstrated that happiness isn't about accumulating wealth or chasing ambition. It's about living in harmony with the world around you, appreciating the small moments that make life beautiful. As the years passed, Hilja became a symbol of wisdom in her community. Her advice was sought after, her stories cherished. And though her body grew frail, her spirit remained as strong as the house she called home. For Hilja, life was not measured in grand achievements, but in the countless small joys that filled each day.